Hello and welcome to how I play my level 120 bard. So let's talk about this. So this is a character I multi-box. I play it with 6 other characters, and we'll talk about spells. We'll talk about my hotbars. We'll talk about any other settings here. We'll talk about gear. We'll mention it, even though my gear is terrible and out of date. It doesn't really matter too much for the way I play, but and we'll talk about some AAs and stuff like that. At 120 we are no longer auto granted, so we gotta pick and choose what we want as we move forward from now on, and we do have to dedicate some time to getting AAs. All right, so first up I have Aria of the Pliziaco. This is our current level Aria of the increasing our spell damage, right? So this is a group spell that it's a song, right? That increases everybody's damage by 47% via spells, and it does not work very well over 120, but at 121, as soon as we ding, we will get a new version. Increases our companion's attack speed by 25%. This is over haste. If you take a look at my haste here, I'm at 225. Cap is usually 220. Increases the chance of a triple attack by 40%, increases the chance of a flurry by 6%, and increases 35% chance for the pet to flurry. So an all-around great spell. You want this on at all times. You can see I already have it on due to the guild lobby or guild hall not ending buff durations, but definitely it's a nice spell, and it's in our melody. We'll talk about that after we go through all the spells. And then we have Chorus of Shaventarius. This is our current level mana regen, health regen. It also does a little endurance regen too, so it's pretty nice. I like it. It helps out with every little bit. Then we have War March of the Sentient Zakara. This is our current level group haste. Increases haste by 60%. Increases strength by 360, attack by 251, damage shield by 1284, and a 5% extra damage. Now, at this point in the game, there's like haste everywhere. So haste is not the important part of the spell anymore, even though it is the haste spell line. The other things are really what's important: the extra attack, the strength. You know, if you're not capped, along with everything else, the extra damage and stuff. So keep that in mind. Like the shaman gives us haste. There's some other stuff that gives us haste. I believe this character has one. Let me see here. Key rings. Yeah, no, this one doesn't have it. If you have a Jane's Veil, she will like that gives you like 60% haste too. So you can be haste capped fairly easy. That's all I'm saying. All right, next up we have 4 chants. These are for the 4 elements that we have. Now, I've been asked on, I think it was the last video, why don't I do insults? The reason I don't do insults, we'll pull up this one right here, Nords Disdain. They cost a lot of mana, and I don't really stop playing. I make a video from start to finish, and I try not to med during that video, so there's no cuts, right? I try to have it continuous the whole way. Now, as you can see, the disdain here, these are direct damage, and you could theoretically just like spam these over and over again, right? You know, with a few of them loaded up, you get 7,200 damage out of that. Here, let's just cast this one over. Spell damage right here. Boom, 51,000 nuke, and then we'll just let that song play. It's gonna be a few seconds before it comes back, obviously, because well, it's actually not going to, because it's not a melody. Never mind. Just do it again. Boom. That one was like 1,500, and there's a recast, right? So the point I'm trying to make is these 4 chants cost 0 mana. And they are dots, right? So if we do a melody of 4 to 7, right? Let's do that real quick and you see this. 4, 5, 6, 7, right? That's our 4 chants. Just the 4 chants alone, right? Just get those going. You can see there, they're on. 115,000, 114,000, right? 489,000, 114,000, 114,000, right? You can see here, this costs me nothing. I showed up and I can do this for free. There is no reason why I would ever want to do insults constantly, other than the fact that it does trigger our Troubadour synergy here, right? And do that. Now, you could arguably say that you might get more DPS out of this in a certain group situation, right? Where it gives everybody 135,000 damage extra hit every time you do it. Now, we could, you could go down that path. You might get a little extra damage, but you're going to be sitting on your fucking ass for a lot of time getting your mana back. And I just don't stop to do that. So it's, I prefer the chance personally. You could probably throw in, an extra one here and there, but I feel like my spell bar is, a little full at the moment, and it's just not worth my time, in all honesty, to stop and med for a little bit of extra damage. And overall, like, I think I parsed this out. The synergy wasn't actually generating as much damage as you think, because it's only one hit or one spell, for everybody. And so, it's kind of, and then there was a cooldown on the different insults. This, I'm constantly generating damage, constantly. And this is in my melody. It's constantly going. I'm constantly getting this. So there's almost 1 million hit right there with a lucky twin cast. So your mileage may vary. You can play your character however you want. I play my character lazy, and so this is what I get. So hopefully that makes sense on why I don't use insults a lot. I have one in my thing, but that's about it. After all of those, after all of these, right? So they all do 4,500 damage each, right? Along with the resist debuff. Next up, I have Arcane Harmony, which is our current level Harmony line of spell. So this will increase the damage on the next spell someone casts by 19,000 and a strike by 17,000. So it's kind of the same effect as Troubadour's Synergy. This will last for four things, right? So this is kind of nice to have. It's right here. And, we trigger it via melee. So if we do a single, get right here. So let's see, where is that? Arcane Harmony. I'm not singing, so I don't know if maybe I can't trigger it, but it's not going off here. And maybe there's a % chance for it to do. Not 100% chance. Yeah, it hasn't triggered yet. Well, actually, there's one right there, 65,000. So the counter just doesn't go down, I guess. That's really what that boils down to. And you can kind of see like all the other stuff there, right? So I do that one on cooldown. Next up, we have Elliptic Psalm, which is the highest level psalm we have. This is the progressive ability. It does a little bit of stuff here, so it'll add 9,800 damage to the next spell for everybody in the group, and it will restore, what is that, 5,700 hit points, 2,200 mana, and some endurance. So it's a really nice little spell to throw out there. It's 60-second recast. I think it lasts for like a minute or so, so it's pretty good. Then we have Silence of Quitis. So this is our current level Silence, or lull, if you will. And it'll lull up to 120. I truly don't even use it anymore. Like early on, it was nice. I could lull up a bunch of stuff and solo pull. But at this point, the mobs are spread out enough in most situations that you don't even have to bother with it. And otherwise, you're going to tank them anyway. So might as well just focus your energy on beefing up the tank to be able to take the hits. Next up, we have Nords Disdain, which is one of our insults. It's just a direct damage, spell, right? It does a lot of damage. This one does not cause the move. Now, there's other ones that don't. So here's a 252,000 crit. It's about how much damage it does. And it's got a recast time, so definitely can't really do it a lot, but every time it does it, it does give us, you know, Troubadour synergy. So we get that, you know, extra hit there. So if we slack there, let's see here. Where does that even go? I think it actually goes over here in this window, but it's just too much junk going by to see it. Here, let's do this. Disdain. We have the synergy, and then swack, whack. And then there you can see right there, 145 might be it. So, you know, it adds a little damage. It just shows up. So it's nice to have, but you can see here my mana is already starting to go down a little bit. And in prolonged combat, once I kick my melody off, it is, you know, I'm pretty much going to be out of mana and out of endurance really quick once I start pushing all my buttons. Then we have Song of Suffering. Grants your companions abilities to do 41,000 magical damage. To those they strike in melee, these strikes will lower the recipient's hatred for you, right? So if we do this, go back to spell damage here, and we should be able to trigger it just by slacking there. This is a chance, though. It's not 100%, I don't believe, on this one. Let's see here. Yeah, there it is. Soul Jar and Strike, 41,000 right there. So definitely nice little extra damage. I have that going at all times also. And then finally, Zelsteins Licendo, which is just a interesting spell because it is a mana restore, a mana health endurance restore, but it's like in the future. You cast it, 30 seconds later, you get, you know, some stats back. So it's pretty nice. I try to get as much stats back as I possibly can. So it just depends on how you want to play. I currently run the Aura of Shea Ventaris, which let me see if I can find it real quick. Aura, I think I passed it. It's a current level spell. Now this, I believe it's the mana regen one. So there's two auras, right? This one restores mana, health, and all that stuff every 6 seconds to everybody nearby. There is a second one that does the same as the Aria right up here, but Madalgor, yeah, it's this one here. Well, it's this line, and it, you know, does the same thing. And in certain situations where you might not, you know, your melody might not hit, you know, right? You might want to do this one too. Instead of that one, but I've been running into mana regen issues on my wizard and mage with the way I play, without stopping to med a lot. So definitely your mileage may vary there in your choice on those. Now my spells and my abilities are all in a melody. The melody is right here, but everything else is multi-bound to the same button. Everything is on 5, so I only do actions when I push 5. So something to keep in mind there. Let me see here, 11. Yeah, so 5 there. So if I don't hit 5, you know, I'm not doing much. But my melody is this. It's obviously overly complex, but you can kind of see this, the pattern here. 11 is the insult, so the, you know, it's insult, wait a while, insult, wait a while, and then it loops, right? So we do pretty much everything. Now there is a new melody command called Q melody, I think it is. I think it's Q melody. I think it's that. And it works slightly different. Now it was broken when it first came out, and would reset anytime anything bad happened, like it resists or anything like that. So it's kind of useless in every sense of the word. But they've since fixed it. I just haven't tested it since it's been fixed. Ideally, what this would do is it would take your spells and it would turn them into a priority list where, like, this one needs to be refreshed, it would cast it versus going to the next chant or something like that. So definitely a little bit smarter, and I'm definitely going to try it out in the next, for the next video at 125, but I just, I have not done anything with it, and I have not tried to test anything with it since they've patched it last. So Here it is. It's a pretty convoluted. 1/4. So I'm kind of weaving the chance in between every other spell. So I'm always having damage out there. And then every so often I do another insult because there is a delay between, the insults. So I try to get those in there. So overall, I feel like it's a good enough melody for me. There might be optimizations you can do to make it better for yourself. But I have an assist button here, best standard button on 4 and 5. This character is only multi-bound on 5, so only these down here get activated when I push 5, and then otherwise it's just 4. And that kind of splits up the work, so I'm not burning my endurance because all the bard abilities take a lot of endurance. So I'm running Bladed Song, which does it puts a debuff on the target, so every time they land a melee, they take 7,000 damage. Cacophony here, this is a huge damage, right? 28,000, then 40,000 over time. Song of Stone, which is our swarm pet of gargoyles. Fierce Eye, which is a group buff. It's really good, increases damage, critical chance, and all that good stuff. Quick Time is a nice little haste. It increases the cast time of spells and songs by 0.5 seconds, along with some other stuff. Increases damage. Really nice. I do it on cooldown. Funeral Dirge. This is another damage and ability here. This one triggers Shrieking Death, deals 55,000 damage. And then Lyrical Prankster, which is summon some doppelgangers to mess with aggro, in all honesty. I do this on cooldown just because sometimes I don't want the tank to tank damage. And throwing this out there prevents him from taking damage. Now I have tracking in my multibind, so this track window here always pops up, and then when I'm in a zone, I can, when I'm glancing at the other windows, I can see like a red name, knowing that there's a named up and I need to go kill it. Saves me a lot of time. Then we have Boastful Bellow, which just does, takes endurance to do 32,000 damage plus a stun. Pretty nice little extra damage. And then it has a 27 or 270,000 damage after effect there. And then Reflexive Rebuttal. This hasn't been updated in a while, I don't think. If there's an update to this, I haven't found it. Or I missed it when I was buying spells. But this is our pretty much only a discipline, right? So it just gives us an extra attack that does a little bit of mana regen. So it's pretty nice. Let's see here. That is my multi-bind. All these, here, I'll kind of show real quick so it makes a little sense. So if I stand right here and all I press is 5, right? See, all my abilities pretty much activated right then. Here, let's get the melody going so we can kind of see this in action along with it. So you can see it goes from chant into the next one, into a chant, into the next one, right? And you can kind of see how they drop off over time here. So they get all on there, right? It's a lot of damage. In all honesty, the bard does a significant amount of damage. I don't have the best weapons and gear, so it's not the best. But typically, by the time I get to the last one, the first ones start to fall off. So it kind of works out. And I don't like refreshing it before it fully ends. I like to refresh it after it's ended. So it's like the timing works pretty well. Quick Time does throw a little bit of a wrinkle into a lot of the timings because it does make some things faster and some things instant. So there is a little bit of stuff there that you got to think about. But for the most part, it's just pretty much that. And, typically I don't even have to push any buttons. I don't even have to do any of those disciplines or any of those AAs, right? I can just let the melody play and then put her in auto attack range and call it a day. And she's going to do decent melee damage, right? It's not like rogue melee damage, but as you can see here, it's more than a shaman pet. So, your mileage will vary on how much effort you want to put into your bard. If you're playing your bard like, a solo character, obviously it would be a slightly different and whatnot. All right, so that's all that. We do have a lot of burns, and we can go through those. So Spire of the Minstrels just increases all the damage. It's just a nice little thing. Hasn't been updated in like forever, but it's a 7-minute reuse, so it's pretty much always up. The Inglorious Shout, which is just a huge direct damage, 30,000, and I believe it stuns them, so it also has a chance to do a little bit extra damage there. Dance of Blades just increases our melee damage, and our triple attack, and all that kind of stuff. Just fantastic extra damage. Thousand Blades, this is one of the disciplines of the very short list that we can use, so it allows us to increase our melee accuracy by 100%, and increases our critical damage by 5%, and a 200% increase in damage of our critical attacks. So it's very nice. No more, just extra melee damage, really. There's a breastplate, use 17. Now this one is not the most up to date. The best breastplate you could have at this level would be the Lorien Song Tier 1, because you can use that at 120. But you know, this is kind of what it does. Increases the reuse time, decreases the reuse time on 1,000 blades by a lot, and then allows you to increase melee damage and stuff like that. So it's pretty nice. And then we have Burn 2, which activates my Blood Drinkers, which is a clicky for life tap. It's like every time you do damage, you get a percentage back as health kind of thing. And then we have Flurry of Notes, which is a 100% chance to activate my procs. So my procs now, which is pretty nice, right? I like to do a stun in the main hand and a life tap in the offhand. That's kind of like what I like. You can do like a healing hammer if you want. Those work also, but I like this setup mostly because like I've done the Final Fugue mission so many times with all my characters that the stun thing, just I like having something that can stun, and it's pretty nice. And then we have Frenzied Kicks, which just reduces the retune of our kick, so it makes us kick more. Hasn't been updated in a while, but there it is. That, and then this is a placeholder for Glyph. One day I'll be max AA, and then I can actually buy I think it's Glyph of Ultimate Power here and put that into my my slot there, so that I can do extreme amounts of damage, right? So that's kind of where that will go eventually. Other than that, I don't have much else about the bard, right? I just have clickies everywhere. Illusion clickies, familiar clickies, feather clicky. I talked about the aura, invis here just stops a song, turns off attack. Double invis is the group, simple stuff like that. Yeah, and gear wise, as I said, the best gear would be the Gallant Reconnaissance. Let's see here, Gallant Res. This stuff here is going to be your best, gear. Let's like find a decent slot, like the breastplate or something. Yeah, there we go. It's fairly cheap, and it's going to be the best you can use at this level. And all the rest of the tier 1 Lorien Song stuff is going to probably go in most of these slots anyways. What you're going to want, like here, this is a tier 1 Lorien Song sword. It's pretty good there damage wise, 10,000 stats. The breastplate is significantly better. Like if we look at this, what, 2,500 plus on like everything. So definitely that's where I'm gonna go. Like I have a bunch of armor on some account, and I just gotta find it so I can go buy all the stuff and get these characters all geared out for getting to 125. But for the most part, that is the path forward for a lot of this. Gear wise, AA wise, I focus on anything that'll increase my damage for this character, right? So there's a lot of different AAs I use. So everything that's in my multibind, I look to see if I can upgrade. If there's, you know, something like burst power, that'll upgrade things also. So I just look for damage upgrades for the most part. Now, in a recent patch, they changed it so these focuses are not tied to specific spells. So their importance is not as high, but they are still some of the most important things to do, in all honesty. Like improved chance here, it improves our chant damage. So if I keep improving, you know, I use 4 chance, so this is a very, you know, very nice line for me to upgrade to increase my damage. There, increasing the damage line of the chant line I use, or the insult line I use. So I use Verant Disdain line. So I'd want to put, you know, get those 8 ranks there for like 1000 AA, and that would increase my damage significantly. I think it's like 5% per, 5% per rank. So it's a significant amount of damage there. If I was running the other line of insults also, I don't run it because it moves the mobs, but if I wanted to, I would have to upgrade that some too and all that. And then Burning Call is unrelated to anything I use, but you would definitely want to look into that. And you would also want to upgrade your Troubadour's Synergy as much as you can. I think that's probably why it didn't actually proc. It increases the damage significantly on that schwack. So you would want to upgrade that for, you know, another 1000 AAs or so. So definitely that is, you know, another priority there. But since it's no longer tied to the actual spells, it's less important because you still get the benefit by going to the new spell, but you do not get the extra damage that you get from the higher ranks. All right. But I think that's about everything about the Bard I want to talk about. If there's any questions or comments, please let me know. If there is a Bard Discord, it'll be linked in the description like I do for all the rest. If not, you can join my Discord and ask questions there. This is like my 4th, maybe 5th Bard 120 plus. So I feel like this is, you know, my best version of the Bard yet for how I play, but it's you know, it's there's always something else to learn and something else to improve. So I feel like there's a little bit of improvement that could be done here and there, but I haven't invested the time in trying to figure it out yet. But if you have any questions or comments, please let me know, and thank you very much for watching. Please have a fantastic day.